Welcome to day 6 of Knitmas. It's the day before I'm going to post this video. It is in the evening at 7 p.m. I went to work, worked all day, got off work, came home, ate dinner, and I've been thinking all day about what kind of video I wanted to make, and I just couldn't settle on one of my ideas. I have like an idea bank of some concepts and things that I might want to do this month, but none of them were like really sounding like something that I wanted to do or could get done within the like couple hours I have tonight and then like couple hours I have tomorrow, because I basically just have evenings and maybe some time in the morning if I get up early enough. But all I can keep thinking about is I want to start some new projects, and I have a couple in mind that I want to get started. First is that I have been wanting a running headband, and I want to try making one to see if I can make something that ticks all of my boxes. So I want to make the weekend headband by Petite Knit. I've had this on my list to knit, I think all year. I planned it at the start of this year and I just haven't made it yet. But it's a 1x1 rib headband, and you Kitchener stitch the cast onto the bind off, so it's like double folded. And I think this will be a good headband to keep my ears warm while I run and will hopefully stay on my head. So that's what we're gonna test out. I just wanna make it and see if it works while I'm running. So that's project number 1. The second project is that I made a bat that I want to spin. I carded this bat a few weeks ago, I think at this point, and I'm just really curious to see how this is going to spin up. Of course, the lighting is just artificial lighting, so it's not the best. But there's a lot of like fun pinks and yellows and peaches in here. I carded this from a braid by Dye Mad Yarns. And this is I think it's a Polworth fiber with some silk in it, if I'm remembering correctly. I'll have to find the tag and and let you know. But I am excited to spin this long draw. So I've only done a little bit of woolen spinning before. I've mostly done worsted, so I'm quite excited to give this a go. So those are the 2 projects that I want to start like tonight and tomorrow. And tomorrow is when I'll be posting this video. So what I need to do now is go stash diving and try to find something for the weekend headband. It calls for a worsted weight. And I think I'm just gonna go to my scrap bin and see what I can find. Okay, I think I found the perfect yarn. This is some Woolstock Worsted by Blue Sky Fibers, and this is actually 2 skeins that I just made into one cake. This is in the colorway Midnight Sea, and it's just this very dark blue, you know, somewhere around a navy to a black, depending on the lighting. So I think this will be perfect. But before I cast this on, I want to update you on where I'm at with my Knitmas projects, just the socks that I'm making this month. So first, this is where I'm at with my Christmas socks. I'm knitting these out of a Tiny Human Knits skein in the colorway Season's Greetings. I love a good self-striping yarn. And yeah, so I've made it through half of the heel and I'm working on the gusset now. And I'm using my reverse Fleegle heel pattern. I'm knitting these for the Fall the Law Fleegle heel cowl that we're doing. And if you've never seen the Fleegle heel cuff down, this is kind of how it's constructed. So you knit the like triangle first, and you do that using increased short rows, and then you join in the round again. So now I'm knitting the entire sock, and you do the gusset decreases. So that's where I'm at with those. And then I'm also working on a pair of gift socks for my boyfriend, using this Lang Super Socks in the colorway Party Mix. And here's where I'm at with them. I got in a decent amount of progress last night, and I decided to knit them fully ribbed. So I'm doing a 2x2 ribbing, and so we'll see how long I knit the leg, but I am gonna try to knit these like a full size sock, like a full leg length that I typically do, even though it's a little bit slower with the rib. But I don't knit him rib socks very often, so I figured this would be a nice little treat since they tend to just like fit a little bit tighter. Okay, so that's where I'm at with those. Now I'm going to find the right needle size. I did a quick look through where I know I've like stashed my needles and I couldn't find the right size. I'm a little bit disorganized right now, and I have just like needles in baskets, and they're not put back and they're just hard to find. So I'm gonna go spend some more time looking for those. I found them. They were in the right binder. I keep my needles in a couple different binders, but they were in the wrong like pocket size. So anyway, I found them. Okay, so now I'm going to purchase the pattern, which is $5.71 USD. I'm sure that I could find something free for this, or I could just figure it out. Honestly, it's not that complex. But two things on that, just real quick, we'll go on a little tangent. One, like right now I'm just tired and I would like to follow a pattern, and like spending, $6 on a pattern is worth it to me. And two, if I can find a pattern, I like to follow them for the sake of sharing what I'm making, because there have been a lot of times when I've come up with my own thing and then I've shared it and people ask what pattern I used and I have to be like, oh, I didn't use one. So for me, I like to follow patterns when I can, so that when I'm sharing what I'm making, I can tell you what pattern I'm using. So the pattern has you casting onto two different 16-inch circular needles so that you can work double ribbing for like just the edge of the headband. I don't have two 16-inch circular needles of the same size, so let me brainstorm this real quick. Okay, I have been looking at this for probably 30 minutes and I think I figured out what I'm gonna do. So the pattern has you cast on using Judy's Magic Cast On, and that's why you need two separate needles, because one set of stitches is just going to sit on waste yarn while you knit on the other set. I don't want to do that because when you go to Kitchener stitch it up, like the two ends together, the ribbing isn't neat using Judy's Magic Cast On. And I've just figured this out by reading people's Ravelry projects, which is always so helpful. So instead of Judy's Magic Cast On, I'm going to cast on using a provisional cast on and graft the two ends together manually. Now there's a project that is extremely helpful that tells you why you should purl into the provisional cast on or into the crochet chain when you do your provisional cast on instead of knit, because it sets up the stitches in a way that will make grafting a lot easier. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just going to go find a crochet hook, make a chain, purl into the chain, and then continue with the pattern. It is time for me to go to sleep. But here's where I've gotten so far. So I finished the provisional cast on, and then I started working in the round. I knit the first round as a row just to make it easier to not twist it. And then I'm also working Norwegian purls just to tighten up my 1x1 ribbing. And I think it's looking nice. So also I cast on the first size, which is technically listed as a child size, like 3 to 9 years, but a lot of people on Ravelry were saying that they knit this size because otherwise it felt too loose. And since I'm going to be running in this, or I plan to, you know, I want it to fit pretty tight. So we'll see. Just looking at it, it looks like it will be the right size. But of course I won't know until I finish it. So I'm going to consider this just like my test headband, and we'll see. I don't even know if like a hand knit headband is going to work with running. It might just want to slip off. So we'll see. But I'm actually I'm having fun so far. And I think it's just because I really like this Woolstock worsted. I haven't worked with it in a while. But I knit my boyfriend a long brioche cardigan out of this yarn. And I don't think I've knit with it since then. So yeah, I think I'm just like having a lot of fun with the yarn at this stage. So you work a certain amount of rows, and then you do the double knitting. Then you go back to the rib, double knitting, and then rib again. And so I haven't quite gotten to the double knitting, but yeah, I'm just working in the round. I don't like 16-inch circulars typically, so I am knitting this using the Traveler's loop, but with a modification. I don't know if it has a name. I think I've heard it referred to as like the stationary Traveler's loop, which kind of doesn't make sense. But basically it is where you pull one side of the needle like this so that it sort of mimics a short circular, but then you have this extra long cable on the other side, and then you knit around the entire thing like that. And you keep some extra cable, but it stays in the same place. Whereas with the Traveler's loop, you like pull out your needle several times as you go around. But with small circumference knitting like this, I find that you can just pull your needle out once and then knit around. And it's similar to the way that magic loop feels while you're knitting, but you only have to pull the needle out once for each round. So I don't find it that annoying to do. And like I said, I like it more than 16-inch circulars because those are just a little bit too small circumference for my hands. I don't not knit with them, but I typically prefer this method. So, okay, I'm gonna go to bed. Tomorrow is just another work day. I'm going into the office, but I will probably come home a little bit early, finish up my work day from home, and then I'm hoping I can get started on my bat before I need to post this video. Okay, it's the next day. I'm heading home from work. I'm wearing the same sweatshirt as I was last night just because when I got home from work yesterday, I put this on and decided to wear it again today. So I haven't like worn it out twice in a row. Yesterday I was wearing a hand knit sweater and it was like way too warm for that. I needed to change. But anyway, so I'm gonna head home. I did make some progress on my headband in a meeting this morning, so I'll show you that when I get home. And then I think I also have decided against spinning the bat that I showed you because I have some rolags that I made from a fleece that I scoured and carded myself, and I think I would rather spin those because I've never spun Rolags. So this will be a little experiment. So I think that's what I'm gonna do tonight. We have not been sleeping well this week. I'm so tired. Last night, our cat Farron, so we have a headboard that has like a shelf on it. And last night he got up there in the middle of the night and knocked a Kleenex box onto my face. So that was fun. That is how he let us know that he needed more food. He had food. We give him 2 types of food at night. He had wet food, but he wanted some more dry food. So that's how he let us know. Back home, I'm probably gonna change out of what I'm wearing a little bit later, but I wanted to show you my progress on my headband. So I'm in the middle of a row, but here's what I was able to get done this morning. So here's my provisional cast on, and then this like few rows that you can kind of see standing out here is the double knitting. And now I will just knit a good portion before I do the double knitting again, do like the other side of rib, and then graft it together. So I feel like this is going faster than I expected it to. I just thought this might be a project that I cast on and then it doesn't actually get bound off until like a month later somehow. Like, I don't know. I feel like beanies, like hats, tend to be that way for me, where I think they're gonna be quick, but then I end up spending a lot of time on them. So we'll see. I'm in the early stages, but I feel like I've gotten further on this than I expected to. I also have my e-spinner here, my good old EEW6, and I have my Rolags that I mentioned. So this is what I'm actually going to start spinning. I have 2 versions from the same fleece. So this is some Navajo churro that I scoured and carded. So here is just the fleece on its own. It's a really pretty color. I have 2 different colors. I have 3 fleeces, but 2 colors of sheep from the same farm. So that is just the fleece on its own. And then I also carded it with some green Targhee, I think, that I had. And so about half of my Rolags are carded with the green, which I think looks really cool. So that is all of them. Like I said earlier, I've never spun Rolags before. This was my first time making them. It was not my very first attempt, but I just recently learned how to make them, and they're just like so fun to make. Like I will probably like making them more than I actually like spinning them, but we'll see. Yeah, I'm just showing them off because they're just really fun. I will attempt to spin them as close to a traditional long draw as I can. I might end up somewhere closer to a supported long draw, so we'll see. I'm gonna give it my best, but this is just gonna be very much me learning and experimenting. And I am going to like pre-draft them a little bit to help with the drafting. And so to do that, I'm just gonna like pull the fiber out like this. That is what I've seen people do, and they say it helps with drafting quite a bit. So yeah, that is the plan. I'm gonna go get into something a little bit comfier. I usually don't like to wear my like outside clothes when I'm home, and so when I get home, I change. But I usually change into something just like unsightly, like a giant sweatshirt and sweatpants. And that's not the best look on camera. Plus, I do try to wear my hand knits quite often. We've had such a mild winter so far that I haven't gotten to wear too many of them, but I do like to wear, you know, a hand knit as often as I can. But if I come home and change, then you don't get to see the hand knit that I was wearing. So, okay, enough waffling. I'm gonna get to spinning. I haven't spun in quite a while. I think since I finished my combo spin for my sweater. So it's been a few months and I'm very excited to get back into it. Well, I officially love spinning Rollags now. You're gonna have to wait to find out what the finished yarn turns into, but I did want to mention I'm planning on spinning each color as their own ply and then plying them together. So this Navajo churro is a very long wool and it has a lot of guard hairs. And so it's just very hairy. And it's, I don't know, like I would say it's like not my favorite, but I think I'm also like, it's starting to grow on me and I am liking it the more I spin it. So I'm just having a good little time over here. Okay, I need to end this video so I can post it. And the question for today's Knitmas is, what is your favorite 90s TV show or movie? This is an easy one for me. Mine is The X-Files. The X-Files was a childhood favorite. I still love it to this day. I have seen so much X-Files. I love Scully and Mulder. I want to believe that is a top TV show for me for sure, but definitely my top 90s show. All right, thanks for watching. I know this was a little bit lower energy for me and I didn't intend for it to be, but God, I am just, I'm going through it. not in a bad way, but I am exhausted. But my projects are really keeping me going. I was knitting on this while I was editing this video. I'm still having so much fun with Knitmas. I'm so happy I decided to do this. I don't know what the rest of the month is going to look like exactly, but we're just going to figure that out together as we go. And I'm loving everyone else's Vlogmases. I haven't been able to keep up with as many as I want, but I would like to share my favorite Vlogmases soon as I can get caught up, because there's a couple like week-long Vlogmases that just got posted that I haven't had a chance to watch yet, so I can't like in good faith recommend them if I haven't like watched them, but I'm sure they're gonna be great. So I will get caught up soon and then I will share. It is wild that we are halfway into Knitmas at this point. This is the most videos I've ever posted in such a short amount of time. I'm really enjoying the like challenge of it, and also the fact that I really can't overthink anything because I just have to come up with an idea and stick with it because I don't have time to like refilm. But I am a chronic refilmer. I have refilmed and canceled so many videos, and this I think is good for me to just force me to stick with the video concept through to the end. So anyway, you'll see these projects again as I work on them in the next video. Okay, see you then. Bye.